Hello, and welcome once again to another edition of Inside Guns with me, your host, the Yankee Marshal. Today I want to talk about social media censoring Pro 2A voices. You know, you hear it all the time from all the gun channels, or at least the bigger gun channels. Oh, I'm being censored, I'm being discriminated against by social media, etc., etc., etc. And to an extent, it's true. And we're going to talk about that today. But is it to the extent a lot of people try to make it sound? Because you might wonder, well, why is it that some gun channels seem to get in trouble all the time? They're always being censored. They're having their voices silenced, while others, like myself, have very little problem at all. And I'm someone that gives away guns and everything else. One of the channels you think that they'd be the most out to get. But I have very little problem. Well, I want to address the issue today because it is true that there are a lot of anti-2A sentiments in the social media context of management, etc. They don't like guns. So they don't make it easy to be a pro-gun channel if you also want to make a living off of it. So that is where one thing comes in. Because here's the thing. When you wonder why some channels never get in trouble and other channels are always telling you how they're in trouble and getting strikes, etc. Well, first off, if those channels that were always telling you that actually got in trouble half as much as they say they do, well, they wouldn't have channels. So you wouldn't be dealing with what they're telling you because they wouldn't be telling you nothing because they wouldn't have any channels. So they tend to exaggerate it because they know when they say, I'm being discriminated against, they're trying to silence me. They get money through Patreon, through whatever. They get more people signing up to their channel because they're like, I want to know if they get kicked off the air, so I want to sign up to their channel, which drives up their advertising revenues, etc. So a lot of people try to use that as a way to rally people to their channels or to their Patreon. But there are other aspects to it. They do put some rather weird rules on gun channels that they don't have on other channels. Now, it is true that it is not allowed that you do lots of different things on any channel you have, like self-harm, abuse of children, exploitation of children. They've been cracking down on that. There are tons of channels every day that just get completely deleted because of the things they do. You don't usually see that with a lot of gun channels. There's been very few of them actually deleted. So it's not that hard to have a gun channel and follow those rules, even though those rules are kind of stupid. It's like I can't show you how to modify a gun. I used to do that all the time. That was one of the things I loved to do more than anything. Show you how to refinish a gun, modify a gun, change out a sear, fit a safety. Things like that. That was stuff I loved to do, but I can't do that now because of the rules against modifying firearms. And they have other rules like you can't show how to make a suppressor and stuff like that. Stuff that would be illegal to do anyway unless you had a Class 3 license. So I don't find those to be that hard to work around because I don't do any of those. But here's the thing. I work around the rules every day. They don't silence my voice. I think everyone who watches me knows my voice has not been silenced. Generally, when you run into problems is when you try to make a living off your channel. Since I don't do that, I don't really get in a lot of trouble. And there's a lot of reasons for that. And it's not just because a lot of the management at these social media companies don't like Pro 2A channels and they don't want them making money. Believe me, as much as they hate the Second Amendment, they like money more. So if it was making them a lot of money, they'd be okay with it. But the thing is, it doesn't make them enough money. And two, it's competition for the people that are giving them money. Here's an example. Let's take a channel like, a random channel, Mr. Guns and Gear. Well, if YouTube is allowing him to use their platform to get his voice out there, and then they make their money by selling advertisement to companies because people are watching him, then they make their money by putting ads on his videos. Well, let's say they take money from Streamlight to put ads on his videos. And then in his video, all it is, hey, buy Olight. Olight's the best video. Well, what's that going to do to the manufacturer that paid money for an advertisement? They're going to be like, that was all counter programming to our ad. We don't like that. So they're going to get upset with that channel. They're going to say you can't get on there and you can't sell this and you can't sell that without us getting a cut of it. It's all about a cut is what it is. It's more about money than it is about voices. Because like I say, I just try to get my voice across. Never had a problem. I've gotten a strike or two, but it's because I broke the rules. But when I say, I got a strike, I want to make sure I don't get another one for a certain amount of time, it's easy to do. They don't silence your voice. They just silence certain practices. They silence you being able to do, like I said before, show how to like make a fully automatic gun illegally. That would be against the rules. You'd get your channel deleted for that. But also when it comes to cutting into advertising, when you're taking money to make your video an advertisement, well, unless you're giving them a share of it, well, they don't want that happening. Also, if you're promoting the sale of a product that people can buy because you tell them to buy it online, well, they're not getting any money for that. Those people didn't advertise to YouTube. They may have given Mr. Guns and Gear money to say, you got to buy this product, it's the best, but they didn't give YouTube any money. And that's what YouTube doesn't like. Same thing with Instagram. If they're not getting a cut of it somehow through advertising or sponsorship or whatever, they don't like it. As far as the message, free speech, they don't really care about that so much. I mean, they don't like it, but they don't really take any active measures against speech. Because like I say, I've been on here, I've said everything any other gun channel has said, and more, usually. Way more, because I don't spend my time selling you products. And yet social media doesn't crack down on me. So when you hear a lot of these channels say, social media won't let me do this and won't let me do that, and they don't want me to be heard. No, they don't want you selling products without cutting them in. They don't want you doing programming that's counter to the people that are paying them for advertising. And they don't want you working deals with people to where you can do things that they have no say in. Like if you're promoting a firearm on your channel saying everyone needs to run out and buy this firearm, and then that firearm manufacturer decides, well, I don't got to advertise because YouTube is, it's getting promoted on YouTube. I don't got to pay for advertising. Well, that makes YouTube mad. It's a big cycle of money here. And like I said, it's not about speech because I talk all the time. It's about the money. They want their cut. I'm sure they're going to try to figure out some way that if you do a paid advertising, because now they label videos as this is paid advertising when you get paid advertising. And I think they're going to probably try to figure out a way to say, we want a cut of that if you want to keep your channel open. Which is one of the reasons I don't need to take any advertising, because I don't want to deal with any of that. But this whole notion that they're trying to silence our voices, well, that doesn't really hold true. Because if you look at most of the channels that just talk Second Amendment, or just advocates, or just activists, they don't really get in any trouble. It's the companies that sell you products, do discount codes, promote certain retailers, or own a retail business themselves, and try to sell products across state lines and through the internet that, in a highly regulated environment that could potentially cause YouTube issues. That's the stuff they don't like. It's all about money. Money, money, money. Just like I say all the time, money has ruined most of the big gun channels. Pretty much every big gun channel now is more about the moolah than they are anything else. They're not about activism. They're not about education. They're not about information. They're about accumulation of wealth. And that's pretty much what they're about. And when they're not cutting YouTube in for a chunk of that wealth, that's when there's problems. My channel's not making a profit. My channel gives away guns every week. My channel gives away stuff that YouTube would not want a part in. And I do it in a way that YouTube is not a part of it. Because they don't have to be a part of what I do outside. As long as I don't do it here in my videos against the rules, that's fine. I've worked with YouTube. I've worked with Patreon many times. They are not anti-gun. Patreon is not anti-gun. They'll just say, here's the things you can't do because our processor won't allow it because it's competition for their business and blah, blah, blah. So I don't do those things and I don't have a problem. So the people who have the biggest problems, like I said, are the ones that are all about monetization, the ones that are all about making money. And they aren't being smacked down because they're a voice for freedom and a voice for the Second Amendment. They're getting smacked down because they're using the appearance of being an activist for the Second Amendment to make money, to sell products, to make people donate, to do things like that to them individually, not a charity or anything like that. So that's the big problem. It's not so much that social media is anti-gun. They are, and there are some aspects of that should be changed and we need to deal with. I'm not going to say there's no bias, because there is a bias. But as far as most of these channels that keep crying wolf about strike, 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 gave me a strike, or oh, they're going to pull me off the air. The many times as they've said they're going to do it, they would have done it by now. So they're mostly about making money, and that's where they're running into a conflict with things like Instagram and YouTube and other social media platforms. It's not because YouTube doesn't like what they're saying. YouTube wouldn't care if you were goose-stepping and doing the Heil Hitler if you were making them $1 million. They wouldn't care. They'd be like, free speech, whether they agreed with it or not. It's when you're cutting into their money that they have a big problem. And since so many big gun channels have become all about big money, YouTube has a big problem with that. And that's why they get in trouble so much. Channels like myself, smaller channels that don't make any money, that just do it because of their love for firearms and advocacy, if they follow those simple rules, they don't get in trouble either. And like I said, that's because this is not about silencing voices. This is about getting a cut of the profit. And that's what social media cares about. All right, now we're to the part where we get to talk about guns. And today I'm actually going to leave the studio to talk about guns because I got an opportunity to go down and check out a SIG AXG Scorpion at my dealer down at Sporting Systems in Vancouver, Washington. So I went down there, took my phone with me, as I take it everywhere, did a little filming, and took a first look at the new SIG AXG Scorpion. All right, here it is. The P320, what is it, the AGX or something like that, Scorpion. I don't actually remember the nomenclature of it, but here it is. And I have to say, it feels really nice in the hand. I thought it was going to be a lot heavier than it is. It's really not that heavy at all. So it feels pretty good. Hey, Patton, I hear you jingling. Hey, Patton. Hey, Patton. But, yeah, pretty nice looking. The one thing I was curious about when I first heard they were making them was whether they would still use the FCU or if it would be all integrated into the grip now, since this is a metal grip. So I want to take a look inside of it real quick. Before I do, here's the box it came in. That's a fairly impressive box there. Combo lock box, everything comes in. It says SIG Custom Works on it. But let me take the slide off this really quick. Oh, and by the way, people who wanted to know if the grips were proprietary, I'm going to say probably, because I don't know if you could see here, but they are very thin. These grips are very, very thin right there. So I'm guessing those are proprietary, although they are nice because they do say SIG Sauer on them right there. But let's go ahead and get this slide off and look inside and see if it uses that CPU still. All right, slide off. As you can see, it does use the FCU, that firing control unit that all the 320s use. So that answers that question. I don't know how it goes in there and out of there. I'm not going to take this out of here since I don't own this gun. But looks pretty cool. Another thing I noticed while I was taking it apart is that it says, let me see if I can get this to focus. Why is this not focusing? Is this just not focusing for me or everyone else too? It says SIG Custom Works right there on the slide. I can't tell if this camera's not focusing or if I just can't see the other. But that's a nice little touch. But also has, the gun also has the G10 inlay in the back of the grip right here too. So that's actually nice. Back of the grip frame right there has the G10 inlay to match the grips. So let me put this back together here really quick. Another thing I will say is it does definitely have that P320 trigger. That is a really nice feeling. And it even feels a little better. It feels like it's more solid because of the metal frame. So if you're interested in one of these, from my first impressions of holding on to it here, playing with it, looking inside of it, it's definitely worth a gun. It's definitely worth trying out. So I think I will probably put my name on the waiting list for one because, like I said, always loved the P320s. I just don't care for polymer frames. And now this one doesn't have a polymer frame. So this looks like this is a definite, I will at least give it a try again. So I can't wait to get a hold of one of my own. But like I said, this one is going to somebody else. I have to say, like I said in the video, I'm very impressed. This gun is now on my list of guns I want. If you're someone that wants one of these, I suggest you get on a list for them because right now it's really hard to get anything, much less a new gun like this. So keep your eyes open for the SIG AXG, because if you want one, if you want a P320 that's an all-metal gun but still feels like a P320, this would be the gun for you. Hey, I want to end out the chat today with a little bit of a 2A community talk here. I want to talk about the problems we're facing now as a community as far as buying weapons, ammo shortages, etc. And I want to say there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It seems now that it looks like everybody who wants to be vaccinated is going to be vaccinated by June. Now, that might not mean a lot to you or me, because we might be people who are like, well, I'm not worried about the disease whatsoever, or blah, 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 or I never leave my house because I'm pretty much a hermit, whatever. But it's going to mean that production gets back to normal and shipping gets back to normal. So it means guns are going to start showing up in gun shops again. And I think by then, by June is when they say everyone's going to be vaccinated. By then, also, you'll see manufacturing of ammo increasing, and you'll see panic buying going down. And not only will you see panic buying going down, I think you'll see first-time gun buyers going down. And that seems to be the big part of the market right now. That's a different video, but I'll cover that topic later, which is why I don't think you're going to see a big sell-off of guns in a few months like you would after most panic buying. But like I said, different video. But there is light at the end of the tunnel now. There is a chance for normalcy. Now, it's not going to be overnight. It's going to be a few months. Like I said, they said until June before everyone's vaccinated. But it's going to gradually get better from December on, meaning production is going to start coming up. Companies that can manage to get dosages for their employees so that they can run the machines and stuff will get to open up sooner. So depending on the size of the industry, we're going to see some places opening up. We're going to see shipping resuming. We're going to see everything catching back up. Now, there is going to be a period of catch-up, whereas things flood in, they go right back out to fill orders people have put in while we're in this panic phase. But like I said, you're going to be seeing a change very soon. To me, 6 months is very soon. I'm old. 6 months seems like a week ago to me. If you're like 12, 6 months seems like a long time. Remember how long 9 months of school felt? And how long 3 months of summer felt? Nowadays, 3 months to me is like I can forget to, I can forget to clean my fingernails for 3 months. So it's just no time to me. But it's right around the corner. Normalcy's coming. We're as close to normal as we'll hopefully ever get. And as long as we can, keep some Chinese people from eating some bats or something again, we should be all right. Which, another topic that's off topic here, I think we should maybe cut off ties with China until they get rid of those very unsafe practices that go on in their country. And I'm not just talking about human rights violations and concentration camps and slave labor. I'm talking about the fact that they eat all this weird, nasty shit and transfer diseases to the rest of the world. They seem to have quite a penchant for that. So unless the government starts cracking down on their desire to do that shit, we're not going to see an end to it unless we cut them off from us. So might be something we need to look into. In other words, Biden, don't be soft on China. But that's, like I said, another topic. This topic was about there's light at the end of the tunnel. Manufacturing is going to start going back up. Shipping is going to start getting back on schedule. I even heard today that maybe some 30 DSXs have made it into the country. So that's got me tickled. Although someone in my chat got it before I did, and now I'm mad. In fact, I do believe that I may have wished herpes upon them when they told me. I don't know. I went black. But so there's hope. So like I said, keep your heads up. If there's something you've been wanting, if you're a first-time gun buyer, maybe don't pay those exorbitant prices right now. Wait a few months. Things should be coming back to normal because, like I said, right now, with the announcement of the vaccines being available, there is light at the end of this tunnel. All right, there you have it. Another episode of Inside Guns with your host, me, the Yankee Marshal. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you come back again tomorrow. I don't know what we'll be talking about, but I'm sure it'll be something interesting, or at least I hope it'll be something interesting. And before we go, I want to remind everyone out there that this channel is 100% funded by you, the viewer. Don't take advertising. Don't take sponsorship. Don't let manufacturers tell me what to say or what to promote. I like to talk to you. This channel is about information and about activism. It's not about storefronts or discount codes. So if you want to support the channel, you're the ones I have to rely on. So if you want to support the channel, please go over to patreon.com/the Yankee Marshal, and become a posse member. You can get patches over there. There's a couple different types of patches for depending on what tier you join. There's pins you can get if you join certain tiers. There's even our K9 unit patches you can get if you join at a certain tier for 1 month. So go on over, become a patron of the channel. Help keep this channel going, like I said, because it is all you. You are the ones that accomplish everything this channel accomplishes, and you're the ones that keep it on the air. So I appreciate that, and I hope you keep it up. And until later, as far as the state of the world today is concerned, well, you know, it is what it is. But in the future, if we all work together, like I know we can, what it will be is something better.